When you think of Jason Statham, it's all about the action hero and tough guy. But behind the punches and car chases, what he wears on his wrist will blow your mind. So let's break down the timepieces in his closet one by one. The first and foremost watch that feels genuinely made for Statham is none other than a Panerai Luminor Marina. Statham was spotted wearing a Panerai Luminor Marina back in 2013 when he was dating model Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Panerai's history is rooted in military precision. Originally producing instruments for the Italian Navy, the brand built oversized dive watches that prioritize visibility and durability over elegance. The Luminor Marina carries that DNA forward with its 44mm cushion-shaped steel case and that legendary crown-protecting bridge. The sandwich dial construction adds depth, with luminous material laid beneath cutout numerals for maximum glow. At around $3,000, it's almost modest in celebrity terms, but that's exactly the point. Statham didn't start with gold, he started with grit. A watch that looks like it belongs on a combat diver, not a red carpet. And that choice sets the tone for his entire collection. But if the Marina is a disciplined class, the next piece adds fire, and lets time itself leave a mark. At number 2 comes the bold evolution, which is the Panerai Luminor Submersible. Statham was spotted wearing a Panerai Luminor Submersible in 2021 while shooting the new spy film with the famous Hollywood director Guy Ritchie. This isn't just another dive watch, this is a statement in metallurgy. The 47mm case is crafted from solid bronze, a material that reacts to air, salt, moisture, and time itself. The deep blue dial contrasts beautifully against the warm bronze case, while oversized luminous markers and hands ensure legibility under any condition. Water resistant, hits 300 meters, the rotating bezel is robust and purposeful. Inside beats Panerai's automatic caliber with a substantial power reserve which is built for reliability. At roughly $22,000, it's still grounded compared to celebrity collections, but visually it commands serious presence. This isn't a watch you hide under a cuff. It's bold, industrial, raw, and the fact that Statham wore his own personal Bronzo on screen speaks volumes. He doesn't wear watches for roles, he wears what he actually loves. So from bronze that evolves with the elements, Statham shifts gears to a watch that collectors are obsessed with. When Statham straps on the vintage Rolex Submariner, collectors immediately recognize the signal. Jason Statham made a sharp appearance alongside Rosie Huntington-Whiteley at the Burberry Spring-Summer 2026 fashion show during London Fashion Week on September 22, 2025 in London. On his wrist, there was a true vintage icon, the Rolex Submariner Reference 5513. Produced from 1962 to 1989, the 5513 is one of the longest-running Submariner references ever made. Its appeal lies in its purity. The matte dial on earlier models ages beautifully, developing creamy patina on the hour markers. Acrylic crystal adds warmth and distortion that modern sapphires simply cannot replicate. Inside, the caliber 1520 or 1530 movement delivers dependable workhorse performance. Prices today range from $15,000 to $25,000, but its value isn't just monetary, it's philosophical. And for a man like Statham, it's disciplined, physically sharp, and it fits perfectly. But vintage restraint isn't enough for Statham. Sometimes he wants designs pushed to the absolute extreme. That's where our number 4 watch enters, the IWC Aquatimer Automatic 2000. In Mechanic Resurrection 2016, Statham played a former hitman and he wore an IWC Aquatimer Automatic, emphasizing his taste for functional dive watches. This is serious dive tech, a massive 46mm case engineered to withstand 2,000 meters of water pressure. That's 6,500 feet beneath the surface. It features an internal rotating bezel controlled by an external bezel system, adding extra protection against accidental movement. The thick sapphire crystal, reinforced case construction, and robust automatic movement make this a professional instrument disguised as a luxury watch. The dial is pure legibility, bold markers, high contrast hands, and luminous material that glows intensely in low light. At around $3,000, it gives you overbuilt reliability and Swiss precision. But he doesn't stop at dive watches. Statham then enters into a timepiece designed for split-second decisions thousands of feet in the air. The IWC Pilot's Watch double chronograph Top Gun Ceratanium is horology and stealth precision at its finest. Statham was observed wearing an IWC Pilot's Watch double chronograph Top Gun Ceratanium in the new Guy Ritchie film Wrath of Man. This watch combines titanium's lightness with ceramic's scratch resistance. The matte black finish absorbs light rather than reflecting it. It's stealthy, functional, and military in spirit. The 44mm case houses a split-seconds chronograph, also known as a rattrapante complication. The in-house automatic movement beats steadily beneath the anti-reflective sapphire crystal. White Arabic numerals pop up against the black dial for maximum clarity. It's not decorative, it's operational. At around $11,500, this is high-level mechanical complexity packaged in a tool aesthetic. It's precision without polish, and that balance mirrors Statham perfectly. And if you think his watch collection is impressive so far, don't scroll away, because the real masterpieces are still ahead. Meanwhile, don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content on your watch list. And after enjoying the IWC Pilot, he returns to something brutally simple, the kind of watch that earns its place through daily wear, not novelty. The modern Rolex Submariner is Statham's watch that lives on his wrist where there's no red carpet, no cameras, and no spotlight. This is Rolex refinement at its purest. The Cerachrome ceramic bezel is virtually scratch-proof and fade-resistant, engineered to survive decades of sun, salt water, and impact without losing its deep black sheen. The 40mm case is crafted from Rolex's proprietary 904L Oyster steel, a corrosion-resistant alloy so tough it's used in aerospace and chemical industries. It doesn't just resist wear, it shrugs it off. Inside beats the Caliber 3130, a COSC certified automatic movement known for its reliability and precision. Retailing between $10,000 and $12,000, this is the watch that Statham wears to the gym, through airports, and on family days. It's his beater. But after enjoying simplicity, he doesn't hesitate to step into something with far more visual weight and wrist attitude. That's where Statham's number 7 watch enters, which is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore. Born in 1993, the Offshore amplified everything with a thicker case, bolder stance, and more wrist presence. At 42mm in stainless steel, it carries serious weight. The iconic octagonal bezel with exposed hexagonal screws is instantly recognizable across the room. The mega tapisserie dial pattern adds depth and texture, creating a three-dimensional grid that catches light from every angle. The rubber-clad crown and pushers enhance durability, while the automatic chronograph movement inside delivers both precision timing and high-end finishing. Priced between $15,000 and $50,000 depending on configuration, it's a serious step into the haute horlogerie. Even when he enters bold territory, he keeps it grounded and masculine. It powers without excess and muscle without noise. So, after this bold statement, he moves into territory where the collector's credibility matters just as much as wrist presence. The steel Patek Philippe Nautilus isn't just a luxury watch, it's a collector's passport into elite territory. Designed by the legendary Gerald Genter in 1976, the Nautilus broke every rule of traditional watchmaking by turning a stainless steel sports watch into high horology. It's built on that legacy with a 40.5mm rounded octagonal case and that unmistakable horizontally embossed blue dial that shifts shades depending on the light. Inside beats the CH28520C with a fully in-house automatic chronograph movement with a column wheel mechanism and vertical clutch. Visible through the sapphire caseback, the movement showcases Geneva finishing, polished edges, and the meticulous attention to detail that defines Patek Philippe. Market value ranges from $80,000 to $150,000, sometimes more depending on the market. Statham wore Nautilus references before they exploded across social media. That signaled something important. He wasn't chasing hype, he was ahead of it. After mastering Patek Philippe steel, he proves that adding precious metal isn't about excess, it's about elevation. The rose gold Patek Philippe Nautilus 5980/1R transforms quiet sophistication into authority. Statham was flaunting this watch at Versace's Cruise 2023 runway. He wore a Patek Philippe Nautilus 5980-1R001, one of the most famous models in the collection. Crafted in solid 18-karat rose gold, the case and integrated bracelet immediately shift the weight and presence on the wrist. The warm tone contrasts beautifully against the deep blue-black gradient dial, creating a richness that stainless steel simply cannot replicate. Yet despite the precious metal, it never crosses into gaudy territory. There are no diamonds, no flashy modifications, just flawless finishing, hand-polished surfaces, and the same in-house CH28520C chronograph movement beating with mechanical precision. Market value ranges between $120,000 and $500,000 depending on demand. This is wealth expressed through craftsmanship rather than decoration. It's a watch that doesn't shout across the room, but if you know, you know. And when Statham wears it, it doesn't look like he's trying to prove anything, it looks natural. And finally, we arrive at legendary status, which is none other than a Rolex. The Rolex Daytona Paul Newman, reference 6263, is the crown jewel, not just of Statham's collection, but of vintage watch collecting itself. Statham wore this a couple of times on his Instagram back in 2015. Produced in the 1970s, the 6263 features screw-down chronograph pushers and an acrylic crystal that gives the dial a warm vintage distortion modern sapphire can't replicate. But the magic lies in the exotic Paul Newman dial. For years, these dials were unpopular, dealers couldn't sell them, then the market shifted and they became some of the most coveted watches on earth. Its market ranges between $250,000 and well over $500,000, and some pieces even go for over $1 million. That's why owning one is impressive, and it perfectly closes the circle. A disciplined and legendary actor wearing one of the most respected icons ever produced. And that's it! From Rolex Submariner to Royal Oak Offshore and $1 million vintage Grail, Jason Statham's watches reflect who he really is. If you're impressed by his watch collection, then stick around with us, because our next video is about Rolex Super Clone watches, and trust me, you don't want to miss this one. See you there.